Is it still working? I believe so. Yeah, the sound seems good. All right. First of all, a big welcome to the newest follower, Michel Junot. Merci for the Facebook page. Merci Michel. On se connaît pas, mais n'hésite pas à mettre des commentaires ou poser les questions que tu peux avoir. C'est toujours apprécié de savoir ce que le monde pense. Donc, gêne-toi surtout pas. C'était mes écrans ici. Alright. So this step of my process is shadowing and highlighting and kind of gradient all at the same time. I also add a lot of detail at this stage, so it's really like kind of the finishing touches on the panel. Sometimes I will draw a whole new thing, sometimes I will look at a panel again and decide that this panel needs to be redone. These are all things that I do at this stage. And just want to set up all my stuff here. So this weekend I will be present at an event. It's been a while. I've been invited to a new kind of little, they call it the Salon d'Usine. So it's in Montreal, and it's like a little book fair, and it's free to go, and they just I'm not sure who their sponsors are, but they're basically offered it to many artists to just come in and share their books. So we'll see how it goes. I haven't been to an event since was it? I believe it was the BDM, or was it TCAF last time I went to anywhere. But of course it's a much smaller scale than TCAF or FBDM. It's really they're just starting out, so I'm not expecting much from it. But yeah, we'll see. If I can sell a few books, why not? And I'll be drawing at the same time, maybe working on some of the perks for my Kickstarter. So I won't be wasting time, that's for sure. So I believe I can start working on the second panel of the page. This one looks pretty okay. This is a simple face, so usually it goes pretty fast. And I can show you the standard process at the same time. So basically what I do is add a new layer on top of the color. I lock it to the parent, I made the color the parent of it. It's a lock clip. Yeah, clip. I clip it to the layer below. And then I will take my my lasso fill, which is a great tool in clip paint, and this allows me to really quickly just lay out all the basic shadows. So I don't bother with highlights anymore. I find that I can get a pretty good look just like this. I think it serves the purpose. I prefer to add detail more in like objects or elements rather than shadow detail. So basically my recipe is super simple. It's a color burn at 30%, and I found that it serves the purpose for most of the time. It gives a good look. It's a warmer shadow because if you just do a black, it makes everything flat. But this color burn kind of adds a little flair to it, and it's interesting. And sometimes you can I use a brown as the base for it, but you could use other colors and come up with different effects, and it's kind of interesting. but usually I just stick with the brown, and it gives a good effect. I choose this brown because this brown is also my line color. So if you can know, if you, I'll just zoom in and show you. I don't know if the resolution of the video allows it, but you see that my line color and the border color is different. So that's another little trick I have. I found that it makes things a bit more interesting if you don't use pure black in your drawings. I reserve the black really for panel borders and bubbles and text, for that kind of stuff. I believe that sorry, that you do need to have some black somewhere on the page, and the reason for this is it makes it a lot easier for printers to kind of balance out your page, because they tend to their software, the way it works is that they will find the black and then say, oh, this is black, so that means that I need to adjust all the colors to make it that this is black. So if you have a dark brown, they will say, oh, this must be the black. So I'm gonna make everything darker in order to make this black, and which is not what I want to do. So I give them a black in the form of my borders, and it's been working. I'm satisfied with how the color turns out usually, although I do have to talk to the printer sometimes. But since my printer is in Montreal and like 10-15 minutes away from my house, so it makes things pretty convenient. And it's also another benefit is that I can easily go get proofs, and I kind of help the local economy as well. I don't pay shipping costs, all those reasons. I really don't know what cost will be for printing this spring. I'm a little bit worried about it, because I will most likely need to raise my prices, and I don't like to do that. If I could sell cheaper, I would, but seeing my situation, I kind of sell it at the lowest price that I can, really. So and I will be raising my price on my website as well soon, because that's just the way it is. And they raised the price for a BDM. It's like I think, is it like $100 more than last time? So yeah, I'm sure you noticed that everything is getting more expensive this year. So yeah, not much choice. You kind of have to follow that path. So as I said, this kind of face fee, I've done it so many times that it's really not much of a challenge. And it's just the basic shadowing. I don't try to go too fast, too much, but just adding this little touch just makes it pop up a little bit more, you know. Doesn't need to be huge. I just want to add this little touch. I used to go crazy and add a bunch of lines, and I know some people really like that, and I know early on I got some people following me, maybe partly because of it, at least. So I hope I didn't disappoint these person. It's something I think about a lot, actually. But at the same time, I'm thinking about the amount of quality that I'm giving. No time spent on page versus return. And I think that this is a good balance of you know, what you get versus the time it takes me to get there. Oh, thank you, Nick, for the like. Nick Clay from Life in the Necropolis. Alright. And that's it. I mean, it doesn't need to be much more complicated than that for shadows. I think it suits the purpose. And then what I do is I will often, depending on what kind of paneling I'm doing, so as you can see here is a pretty basic kind of layout that I do. So I will have a flat color, and then I try to play and add another gradient inside. I try different variations. Sometimes I will go with blue. I keep you know, either radial or round, depending. I try different things and see what turns up the best and kind of portrays the emotion that's going on in the panel. So let's try this one and see how it goes. She's kind of saying, oh, maybe I have an idea. So which color should that be? You can play with the different modes. I do like color burn a lot. You see how it merges color a lot better than normal. Like you kind of have that kind of white hollow that I don't really like, but when you have color burn, and kind of merges in a lot better. But I think because she's having an idea, I think it would make sense to have kind of an orange there, and let's see how that goes, how that does, what that does. Like, and then maybe play with it a little bit. Maybe like this. And then I can play around again with this if I do a color burn. Normal was kind of nice, but I can try others. Let's see it darken, what it does. Or screen. Screen is not bad. You know, there's kind of light rounding out her face, which I kind of like. And then I think I'm gonna keep it like that. And the final step really is a thing I do with every one of my panel, and I think it adds a lot of kind of merges everything together, and I really like how it looks. So I've been kind of maybe doing it too much, but it's kind of a two gradients that I put on top and bottom, and I think it makes a lot of sense. I don't know why. So what it does, I think, is that it adds a kind of a general light that comes from the top. So this one will be a soft light, and I play with it depending on the panel. Sometimes I add more or less. This one I think would be too much, so I would lower it a little bit. And you can see I put it under my black, but I like to put it on top, so that even then the black gets a gradient as well. So I will decrease it a little bit, because often just by default it's not quite good. So I kind of play with the value and see how it does. And then I add another one. It can be on top or bottom, and I will do a brown this time. And the brown, I always reduce it a lot. I just need a little bit. And it kind of creates this shadow from the bottom and lighting from the top. And without it, it looks a lot more flat. But with it, kind of makes everything pop out. So it's kind of a little trick I do now. Sometimes I will vary the color depending on the general mood of the scene. But I think it adds a lot. So for my third panel here, let's see. This one I'll probably need to add some detailing. So shadow, the ink, so all on my ink layer. Some panels are more complex than others. If that's the case, then sometimes I like to keep my ink together in a folder. Kind of makes everything less messy. So the way this is built is like this. And it's kind of been all merged in. So I think, yeah, I could, yeah, so, well, yeah, okay. What I do is, to make my life easier, is do a color gamut and just remove the ink. I'll kind of cut this panel because it will be a lot easier to make shadow if I can clip to the shade directly. So I'll show you what I mean. So see, I cut away the door, and then let's see, I have, again, I want to cut this away. Paper. I should have made it like that from the beginning. Sometimes I forget. So I just want to have Che on our own layer because I want to add some shadowing only to her. So okay, so that's her only, and okay. So what I'll do is try to grab her layers and put them on top because she's on top of everything. There you go. And I think now if I hide every other color layer and add the ink, there you go. So now I have a Che all by herself, and it will be a lot easier to make my color, my shadowing, because now I can add a layer, clip it, make it down to 30%, color burn, my brown, and there, now I'm good to go. And this makes it easier because now instead of having to go around and go, I can take my lasso fill and just select like that. It makes it a lot easier. Sometimes you kind of have to judge, is it worth the effort or not? Sometimes it's not, sometimes it is. It's hard to tell. Sometimes if it's worth the effort. In this case, I think it was. be something like that. And then she's kind of facing this library, so this closet. So I think her front actually will be all shadowed. That would make sense. Okay. Probably the back will be a bit less shadowed. So something like this. And then I can play around with the rest of the colors. So let's see. I think this layer has nothing on it. I'll move it down for now. So this is the door and the plants. Probably I want to play with the colors of the plants as well. So same thing, add a 30% color burn on top of it. So it just makes everything much easier to separate when it's like that. I wish I could keep every single color on its own and then decide, okay, these two, you know, I guess I could, but it would be so long. You know, you could make a layer for each, but there's no one rule that you can really depend on, because often you want multiple colors to live together because they're all part of the same object. So you kind of try to separate objects so that it makes sense, but then you have another problem where one object sometimes can be on top of another, but for the rest of the drawing it's not. So that does happen frequently, where you know, when two people are fighting, for instance, you know, one leg might be on top and then another part of the body is on the bottom, and then makes things pretty complex to separate like that. So I don't really have any kind of solution for that. I don't know. Maybe people working in animation have some good reflex for this kind of situation. So they have to do a lot of repetitive thing. They might be very keen on finding tricks to save time, which I am always on the hunt for. How can I make my process faster? I think the biggest improvement I've made is during this chapter. I've started to implement that idea, is that I don't do finished panel before I block colors, because then and I've just started doing that, so a lot of panels are not as good as optimized as they could be. But basically what this means is you want, when you're blocking, basically what you want is to have as few zones as possible. So you want to tap your screen with block, block, block as least as possible, right? So when there's a lot of detail, your blocking gets stopped all the time, and then you have to play with the sensibility of the blocking tool, which Clip Paint does really well. But it's just an extra step. So, you know, when you're making a comic, you're always thinking, okay, how can I cut out that extra step so that I give the same good result, but I can do it faster. And it's not meant to be lazy or anything. I mean, there's really no point in doing something that has no value to the reader, right? So if they get the same thing, same end result, they will be happy. And I guess this can open a lot of discussion too. I mean, there's a lot of tools that I hate to talk about it again, but you know, if you look at AI, if you could make the whole drawing like that, would you? I guess it's a question that you can ask yourself. So, you know, it's a there's a gradient of answers, I guess. You know, you have to decide how far you want to go in saving your time. Okay, so this is done. I'm already pretty dark inside. I think that color is good. This is nothing, right? Let's see. I have my wall, I have my inside of my closet, I have the parchment, and this is what the door. Probably the door would be here. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is maybe just paint this little section that I forgot. And at this point I will, should I merge? One alternative to merge is put everything in a folder, and then you can clip a shadow to that folder. So I believe that's what I'll do in this case. So it does the same thing, and sometimes it's a good way to clip on some elements that are, it's hard to explain, but sometimes it's difficult to clip to everything in the right way, and having it inside a folder can sometimes help. So be aware of something you can do. So that's another way to add shadows, is just to use the fill function functionality. So like this. And then I can also do it on the sides of the books. This. Probably here as well. I'll just add some. Maybe that. Because the back of should be darker because it's the back, right? So I can do all the sides, and I think that's kind of good. Just add some scratches on top of this, and I've been starting to kind of do this kind of texturing thing on its own separate layer, and I'm thinking that what I was saying about blocking colors, and you want to have at least the least kind of blocking element as possible. So one thing that I could do is some of these could be done on a separate layer like this, and then you can simply hide the layer and then block and just activate it again. So that's something I've been thinking about that I could be doing. So it depends what kind of detailing you do. Sometimes you might want to do it at this stage or not. There's so many situations. Okay. It seems stupid, but I find that just adding just some little things like that really add a lot to the drawing. It just adds a lot more life. You know, it feels more lived in than having this pure kind of aesthetic. Alright, and I tend to add it more to the walls or furniture or that kind of thing, and I find that it adds a lot. And so again, last step will be just to add a gradient, my gradients that I add at the end. Soft light. Sometimes I will add multiple of these. One on the background, one on the foreground. You know, some images have a lot of dimensions to them. So, for instance, I could say, oh, this dark brown, I want it to be under shade. So, you see, it creates this interesting thing, and I think I actually kind of like that. It's too much, but if I just lower it with this, you see, it just makes shape pop out a lot more. So I do like this in this case. I think it works pretty well. Okay, well, that's it for this one. So see, I wanted light on her, but not the shadow. I think, no, I can show you again, but I think just adding her just makes her stand out a little bit more. I kind of like that. All right, next. So when two panels are side by side like that, what I like to do is just transfer my gradients right away. So they are available for my next panel. I always put them under the bubble. And there's always a bit of play to it, especially when the characters are lower on the page, on the panel, and then I can also play with the height of this, so I can just play around like that. And where's the? Seemed like the dark brown disappeared. Did I take the wrong layer? What is this? Oh, it's my scratches. I copied the scratches. And it could be a probably can make it into a brush. You know, that might be fun. So let's see, if I put this here, then just move it like this. See, it's kind of like a brush, and it doesn't really show that I'm using the same twice, right? Yeah. You could even like turn it like this, and instant scratch, and maybe double it. Just like this. And of course, I don't want it on my characters, but since I'm working with layers a lot, I can easily try to find where my characters are. See, the background is here, so I can just scoop it there. Yep. And that's kind of good. Saves a bit of time. But I needed my brown, so let's get my brown. And add it here. Don't need it now. Let's see, where is my ink? So that's part of the ink. Let's put that in a layer. This one as well here. Okay, so this is an ink layer. This is Clara. This is an empty layer. Often I create layers and I forget. So 2 ink here, so I can put these in the table. Everything is in, so another empty layer. What is this? Scratches. Okay. Yeah, those are the scratching layer. So this is my whole color thing. Well, I just use it to color the map, and I forgot to to paint that section here. Let's see, just fix that. This. And I think these 2 layers really can be merged together. There's no real reason not to. So add this clip, color burn 30. And let's go for it. You see, it's the wrong color. Can easily do often it happens that I put the wrong color, so what I do is just block the transparency and just fill. Something you can do if you want to try to a different color burn color. Sometimes when I was trying it out in the beginning, I used to switch around a lot. Just try a different color, what they do, and how it makes the rest show. So Hey, salut Sam, comment ça va? J'étais en... Ok. Tantôt j'étais en mute, je me demandais si j'étais encore en mute, mais ça a l'air que non. Est-ce que tu étais au courant pour le salon d'usines en fin de semaine? Je me suis pris une table, je fais que je vais être là samedi. Ça fait vraiment longtemps que j'ai vendu des livres en personne, là, depuis le Festival de Montréal, là. Je sais pas, il est sûrement trop tard pour avoir une table, j'imagine, là, mais tu peux peut-être essayer de leur écrire, là. Peut-être moyen de te squeezer, là. Je pense qu'il y avait. C'était pas très connu, fait qu'il n'y a pas eu tant de personnes qui se sont présentées, là. Il n'y a pas l'air d'avoir tant de monde que ça, là. Fait qu'il y a peut-être une chance, là, si tu leur écris, là, puis si t'as envie, là. Euh, Ça va sûrement pas être une super grosse affaire, là, en termes de vente, là. Mais, tu sais, vu qu'ils chargent rien pour les tables, là, fait que c'était quand même cool de leur part. Non, 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 c'est pas salon du sélectionneur, c'est salon d'usine. C'est la première fois qu'ils font ça. Euh, je peux te montrer, là, salon d'usine. Incroyable salon d'usine. Ouais. Tu peux mettre le lien Facebook dans le chat, là. Et YouTube, il va pas m'aimer, j'imagine. Ok, fait que là, ça, je vais merger ces deux-là. Ouais. C'est même pas. J'ai vu le monde qui était là. Il y a quand même un coup de BDS, mais c'est sûrement pas juste ça qu'il va y avoir, là. Ça me fait penser beaucoup à Exposine, là. Je sais pas. Tu comment ça va être différent tant que ça, là. Et puis je connais pas l'organisateur non plus. Ouais, ça c'est un genre d'exposé. On va voir, là. La BD avance bien, là. Ça, c'est rendu. Je suis rendu à la page 7, là. Ça veut dire que j'ai fait un. Sur 24 plus 33. Page 33 de mon 48, là. Fait que. Ça avance bien, là. J'espère être capable d'annoncer de quoi bientôt, là, comme lancement de la campagne, là. Ça va quand même pas mal bien, je trouve. Je pense quand j'aurai fini peut-être la moitié là, de la deuxième partie, là, je vais peut-être annoncer la page là, du Kickstarter. Là. Ça va m'avoir une meilleure idée pour quand est-ce que je vais avoir fini. Mais sinon, salon du collectionneur, je sais pas, t'as déjà été là, il me semble que tu peux vendre des BD originales, là. Il me semble le genre de monde qui vont dans des places de même, ils recherchent pas tant des affaires originales, là. C'est plus... ils essaient de compléter leur collection de BD comme américaine ou X, là. Sinon des cartes ou des jouets, là, mais... J'ai jamais eu l'impression que ça pognait tant que ça pour du monde qui faisait des trucs originaux, là. Ouais, c'est ça. C'est des sketchs de super-héros, mais je suis pas très bon là-dedans, là. Puis ça m'intéresse. Puis parce que ça m'intéresse pas tant, là. En plus, là. C'est probablement pour ça que je suis pas très bon, là. Dans les sketchs de super-héros, là. Puis je sais pas, je traite pas à dessiner les affaires des autres, là. Ça, c'est pas. J'ai comme. Je me sens pas le besoin de faire ça tant que ça, là, non plus, là. pense que j'aurais de la misère à faire une histoire de super-héros. J'ai eu pas d'expo. Qu'est-ce que tu veux dire? Tu veux dire les autres exposants ont acheté ton livre? Il y a eu pas mal d'exposants qui ont acheté ton livre. Ok. Ouais. Mais c'est ça, fait que tu y vas là encore, puis vu que c'est probablement la même gang d'exposants. Tu risques pas de vendre beaucoup de livres. Remarque, à moins que les personnes qui étaient venues la dernière fois, là, ils se disent, ah ben, tu sais, c'est pas cool d'essayer son livre. J'imagine que c'est une possibilité. Hey, merci Justin Duguay pour le like sur mon petit vidéo. Justin Duguay, un grand auteur que j'apprécie beaucoup, qui produit la belle série d'agents secrets que j'ai juste ici. McGuffin et Alain Smithy. Si vous n'avez pas lu ça, ça vaut la peine. Fait un beau sketch en plus que Ghislain m'avait fait. Je peux même montrer mon sketch tant qu'à être. Là, je sais pas si je vais réussir à mettre ma caméra à bonne place, mais c'était pas mal cool. C'est en quelle année ça? En 2018. Il m'a fait un bel honneur en passant à ma table aussi au dernier FBDM. Là, je m'attendais pas à ça du tout. Un ben bon gars. C'est vraiment un artiste, je trouve, qui maîtrise bien là, l'ensemble du dessin. Là, tu vois, on dirait qu'il n'y a rien à son épreuve. Il dessine des voitures, toutes sortes d'affaires. C'est tout le temps vraiment bien réussi, solide. Un grand artiste. Je sortirais bien ma collection de tes trucs, Sim, mais ils sont comme un peu dans le bordel de tous les jouets qui sont devant, là. Ok, fait que ça, quasiment là. J'étais un peu déçu de ne pas être capable de présenter mon nouvel album au BDM, au BD List, là. Mais malheureusement, il sera pas prêt en 2022, fait qu'il va falloir que j'attende l'autre d'après pour le présenter. Bon, ça c'est pas pire. Ah, donc un petit détail. Ok. Puis je pense que on est bon pour une autre panneau. Et notre super prêtre. Je suis vraiment content de ce concept-là. Tu sais, dans le fond, dans la cité, il y a juste un arbre. Fait que c'est développé une genre de religion autour. Ok, je pense que celle-là, j'aime bien le très à plat. Je vais peut-être m'essayer quand même de mettre un dégradé dans le fond, mais en même temps, je trouve que le jaune, il fonctionne vraiment bien. J'imaginais que seulement chaque fois qu'une feuille tombait de l'arbre, les prêtres ils les gardaient jalousement. Là. Personne sauf eux avait le droit d'y toucher. Je faisais des petites histoires reliées, là, ça pourrait être intéressant d'en parler plus. Là. Mais pour l'instant, j'ai vraiment juste envie de comme finir l'histoire puis de passer à un autre genre d'affaires. Okay. Ces jeux de comme trouver une bonne fin là. T'sais. Ben la fin est déjà trouvée, mais t'sais. Juste donner une bonne fin à tout ça puis essayer quelque chose de nouveau. T'sais. Ça veut pas dire que je retournerai pas plus tard, mais j'ai le goût d'essayer de quoi de différent un petit peu. Fait que là, pour son... Comme ça... Ah non, non, BD-List, c'est indépendant? C'est... non, non, c'est un jury. Puis tu peux... il y en a un anglais, puis il y en a un français. Fait que tu peux... c'est ça, tu peux soumettre ça à... Ben toi, vu que t'es en anglais, c'est ça, tu soumettrais au jury anglophone. Là. Puis ce qu'on m'a dit, c'est que, moi, vu que je fais les deux en même temps, je pourrais très bien soumettre aux deux jurys en même temps. Il n'y a pas de problème. Là. S'il y a un des jurys qui m'avait accroché au dernier festival, il a dit pourquoi tu t'as rien envoyé au jury anglais? Puis je dis ben je sais pas là, je pensais que c'était pas, je sais pas pourquoi, je pensais que j'étais pas supposé là. Fait que ouais, j'aurais peut-être dû. Je sais pas si tu sais ce que je fais vraiment dans leur corde, là, dans ce qui les intéresse, parce que j'ai l'impression que la BD populaire ces temps-ci, c'est beaucoup plus de la BD de documentaire ou c'est des biographiques là. Ça a l'air d'être plus le genre d'affaires qui est recherché là, dans les prix. Je sais pas si mon genre de BD a une énorme chance de gagner, mais quand même. On tente sa chance. Je vais sûrement soumettre celle-là donc pour le prix de 2023. Là. Ok. Tout simplement. Ah, attends, je voulais changer un petit peu la couleur de cette zone-là, comme un plus un vert. Fait que je vais aller rechercher mon vert de même. Voilà. Comme ça, c'est pas pire. Avec un petit peu de un. Je peux appliquer mon... c'est ça, mon gradient seulement au personnage. Ça peut être intéressant aussi. En fait, peut-être que le shadow, lui... Oups. Ça, je voulais... Lui, je peux le mettre en arrière. L'appliquer au background. Qui est juste un highlight sur le personnage. T'sais. Là, c'est juste sur la couleur, mais ce que je peux faire après ça, c'est aller pogner toutes mes encres. En fait, ce que je peux faire, je réfléchis là, c'est tout mettre mon personnage. Ouais, c'est ça. J'en avais parlé un peu tantôt, c'est que un truc, c'est de bien clipper là, c'est que tu peux mettre ton clip sur le folder, puis là, comme ça contient l'encre et le bonhomme. Et voilà. Donc là, maintenant, mon highlight s'applique sur le... autant sur le trait que sur la couleur. C'est ce que j'aime bien, personnellement. Je trouve que ça donne un beau petit look. Fait que là, la question, c'est est-ce que je devrais faire de quoi d'autre sur le background? Puis ça, je me demandais ça tantôt. Mais je peux essayer, voir ce que ça va donner. Je suis pas convaincu. Mais je vais essayer quand même. Fait que... je vais le faire en radial en partant du haut, probablement. Puis je pourrais essayer différentes couleurs. Mais je pense que c'est pas pire, dans le fond. Ça rajoute un petit peu au mysticisme de l'affaire, là. Puis, je vais bloquer ma transparence. Je vais essayer de mettre ça en vert aussi. Dans un ton de vert. Comme ça, peut-être. Peut-être c'est trop. Puis, peut-être jouer un petit peu avec les... Non, c'est trop. Darken. Lighten. Je sais pas si... pas plus dans d'autres verres, peut-être. Là, c'est là que ça devient un petit peu bizarre parce que un verre de même, à mon avis, là, en imprimé, là, ça va avoir l'air de la merde. Là, fait que je pense que je suis mieux pas. Parce que les verres, c'est bien difficile en imprimer. Ce que tu vois à ton écran, c'est assez difficile à reproduire. Mais comme ça, je pense que ça devrait passer. J'avais aussi cet album-là, je l'ai aussi envoyé quand j'étais un peu plus tôt là, dans l'année, j'avais essayé je m'étais essayé aussi au prix Jacques Bouchard, là, mais j'avais pas été retenu. Là. Je trouvais pourtant que j'avais un assez bon dossier, là, fait que j'étais un peu déçu. Dans le fond, c'est une autre affaire que tu peux essayer. Là. C'est une petite bourse de production d'un album. Là. Puis c'est comme, tu prends du temps pour préparer un dossier, là, c'est toujours un peu... Tu sais, je me dis, ah, j'aurais dû passer ce temps-là à dessiner à la place, là. C'est un peu frustrant, là. Les prix BD-List, c'est pas... tout ce que tu perds, dans le fond, c'est les livres que tu as soumis. Mais je pense même qu'il y a moyen de les revoir. Peut-être. Bon, je pense que je passe assez de temps sur lui. Alright. Ah ben là, écoute, il est 11h03, fait que j'en ai pas mal fait assez pour ce soir. Donc, merci Sim pour ta compagnie, merci Ghislain, merci qui d'autre qui a fait un like? Qui c'est d'autre que j'ai eu? Un like de Nick Clay, puis évidemment Simon aussi qui avait fait un like. Merci beaucoup, c'est super apprécié, puis les commentaires aussi, puis c'est ça qui fait que tu sais, il y a plus de monde qui voit mon live, là, c'est quand il y a d'interaction, sinon Facebook il pense que c'est trop plate, puis ça vaut pas la peine de montrer à plus de monde. Fait que oui, Simon, tente ta chance, ça vaut la peine. C'était sorti de quoi en 2022? Je sais pas s'il est trop tard pour les prix BD List. Peut-être pas. Tu pourrais checker, là. Les BD List indépendants anglophones. Je sais pas s'il est trop tard pour s'y mettre. Sinon, ouais, prix Jacques Bouchard, tu peux regarder ça. Ça récompense les albums indépendants aussi, là, mais en production. Fait que, c'est un autre genre. Sinon, quoi d'autre? This has been Tales from the Interface. I'm currently working on book 4, which will come out in the spring. I hope you will take a moment to check out my campaign and share it. That will be hugely appreciated when it comes out. You can subscribe to my newsletter at tfti.incorporate.com or purchase my book. And that's about it. Yeah, so Simon, dans le fond, ça serait un livre sorti en 2022 que tu pourrais soumettre au BD List s'il accepte encore des candidatures. Fait que ça, je suis pas sûr. And yeah, that's about it. So I wish you a great weekend, and I'll be there next week, same time, same day, so Thursday at 9 around. And that's about it. So have a great week, and I'll see you around the interface.